better. And plus I can see. Hello, it's Grandma Sherri. Bedtime stories time. And tonight's story is The Little Mermaid Sweet Dreams at Last. Okay. Little Mermaid Sweet Dreams at Last. It was a bright, sunny morning, and everyone in the royal castle was wide awake and ready to begin a brand new day. Everyone, that is, except Princess Ariel. Ever since she had the night had become a human, Ariel had had trouble falling asleep at night, and the night before had been no different. Yawning Ariel made her way to the balcony for breakfast. But as soon as she sat down, her sleepy eyes began to close, and plop, her head drooped into her oatmeal bowl. Ariel jolted awake. Not again, she groaned. During the day, an exhausted Ariel had been falling asleep in the most unusual places, in the royal garden, in a rowboat, even on the beach. But at night, Ariel tossed and turned. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't fall asleep in her own bed. She's just falling asleep everywhere. Poor little Ariel. Everyone had tried to help. Grimsby fluffed her pillows until they were as light and puffy as a cloud. There, he declared, lay your head down on this, Your Highness, and see if you don't fall right to sleep. Ariel climbed into the cozy bed, but still didn't sleep. Eric suggested reading before bed, since it always helped him sleep. So Ariel collected stacks and stacks of books from the palace library and carried them up to her bedroom. By the next morning, she had learned all about gardening, knitting, and building complicated sandcastles, but she still hadn't slept a wink. Pretty pictures. Have you tried counting dolphins? Flounder asked Ariel the next day when she went to visit him. No, but I'll try that tonight, Ariel replied. Later, she counted an ocean worth of dolphins, but instead of sleeping, Ariel just felt homesick. I wish there was some way we could help Ariel sleep better, Prince Eric said to himself the next morning at breakfast. Sebastian shook his head sadly. She never had trouble falling asleep back in Atlantica, he thought. Perhaps if her new bedroom were more like her old one, Ariel's problem would be solved. That gave Sebastian an idea. Suddenly, he knew just what to do. Pretty pictures. That afternoon, Prince Eric suggested that he and Ariel go out on his boat for a long, relaxing sail. Oh, that sounds wonderful, Ariel agreed. The royal schooner was ready and the anchor was raised. Before they had even cast off, Ariel began to yawn. Where should we sail, my dear? Eric asked. Ariel? But when Eric turned to her, he saw that Ariel had already fallen asleep on some coils of rigging rope. See pictures? By the time Ariel and Eric returned to the castle, the sun was beginning to set, and Ariel was well rested from her long afternoon nap. As they walked up the palace steps, Ariel spotted Sebastian with a man carrying a large trunk. Hello, Sebastian, Ariel called to her crustacean friend. Won't you have dinner with us tonight? I'm afraid I can't, Your Highness, Sebastian said. I have some important work to do this evening before it's time to go to sleep. At last, the sky filled with twinkling stars, and it was time to say goodnight. Ariel climbed the stairs and reached her bedroom just as Sebastian was tiptoeing out. He bowed and eagerly held open the door for the princess. Sinuses. Surprise! Shouted Sebastian. My things! Cried Ariel. How did they get here? I thought having them nearby might help you sleep better, Your Highness, Sebastian said with a smile. Everywhere Ariel looked, she saw something from her old undersea room. A bouquet of deep sea blossoms, her mother of pearl comb, her treasured music box. Oh, thank you, Ariel cried happily. Ariel said good night to Sebastian and snuggled into bed. Sebastian waited for an hour, then peeked into Ariel's room to make sure she was asleep. But when he opened the door, Sebastian found Ariel sitting up in bed, wide awake. She still couldn't fall asleep. I guess missing your things wasn't the problem after all, Ariel, he said with a sigh. Being a human is harder than I thought. There's one more thing we can try, Sebastian said. Climbing up to the music box, he opened the lid and waited for it to play a slow, sweet tune. But nothing happened. Sebastian looked inside. Aha, he said, spotting a problem. A big, lumpy pink shell. He moved to toss it aside, but Ariel quickly took it from his claw. Ariel smiled as she held the shell up to her ear and heard the ocean waves. The sea, she sighed. Then Ariel yawned. You know, I'm feeling really sleepy. Maybe I'll just... She snuggled beneath the covers, this time with the shell pressed gently against her ear. Before Sebastian could even leave the room, Ariel was fast asleep. Sebastian tiptoed out of her bedroom. Good night, princess, he whispered, and sweet dreams to you at last. The end. That was a story out of Bedtime Favorites, Disney's Bedtime Favorites. And once again, I'm Grandma Sherri, and I just want to say I love you. And I read these stories every night for my grandbabies that are not here with me personally, so that they can hear my voice and they can see that I think of them every night. Before I say my prayers, I pray that they're blessed and safe and out of harm's way. So before you go to bed tonight, say your prayers and ask God to take care of your family. When you wake up in the morning, thank God for waking you up. And ask for Him to guide you throughout the day, to make the right choices, to be a good kid. Be helpful, be kind. Always be helpful and kind to others. Treat people the way you want them to treat you. And even though grandmas is not around to see you, always know that you're in their heart. And Grandma Sherri loves everybody. Have a good night.